The first two out of the 4 quarterfinal matches are officially over, and the first 2 teams that we will be seeing in the semifinals are the 2021 AFCON winner Senegal and the host Morocco. They are making it to the semifinals for the first time since 2004. It's been over 20 years since Morocco has made it to the semifinals, and obviously Senegal won the AFCON in 2021. Can they do it once again? Let's talk about these games. Senegal beat Mali 1-0 and Morocco beat Cameroon 2-0. Let's start off with the Senegal game. Heading into this match, I did think that Senegal were going to win this game. Obviously, so far in this AFCON, they've been arguably a top 3 team, a top 2 team. They've been absolutely phenomenal. If you look at them in the group stages, they beat Benin 3-0, they beat Botswana 3-0. They did get that 1-1 draw against DR Congo, which wasn't the best result for them. But then in the round of 16, they beat Sudan 3-1. So they've been fantastic, and 10 goals in their first 4 matches is really, really good. And it shows you how good Senegal's attack is. And coming into this game, Mali were a team that in their first 4 matches in this AFCON have drew every single game. Every single game was a draw. They drew against, who is it? They drew against Zambia. They drew against Morocco. They drew against Comoros. And then they drew in full time against Tunisia before beating them on penalties. So if you look at their last 5 games, even the friendly fixture against Jordan before this tournament, Mali have drew every single game. They drew all 5 of their last 5 games. So coming into this game, maybe Mali could have gotten another 1-1 draw, take it to penalties, and maybe upset Senegal. But realistically, look at Senegal's recent 5 games. In my opinion, this game was always going to be Senegal. And if you look at the stats, Senegal were the better team. They had momentum throughout pretty much the whole game. Now, there were certain times where Mali did look threatening. On the counterattack, they looked threatening. And to be honest, Senegal defensively, I wasn't that convinced by them in this game. If you look at their lineup, I wouldn't really say that both Koulibaly and Niakate had the best games. Now, they were okay, right? They weren't bad, but I didn't think that they looked that good defensively. Like, for a team like Senegal, I would expect them to look more comfortable defending some of the attacks from Mali. And also, Senegal in the midfield, I didn't think they were that good in this game. But to be honest, Mali were pretty poor pretty much everywhere on the pitch, right? Defensively, their goalkeeper made a mistake, and that's the reason why Senegal got the first goal in the 27th minute through Iliman Ndiaye. The goalkeeper, Diarra, he's been good this whole tournament, right? Obviously, in the penalty shootout against Tunisia, he was fantastic. And for a good portion of this game, he was good too. And realistically, Senegal probably could have scored 2 or 3 goals if he didn't make some of the saves he did. But at the same time, the goal in the 27th minute for Senegal, that was poor goalkeeping, right? He should have caught that easily, but the ball slipped right through him, and Ndiaye scored a very easy goal, probably one of the easiest goals of this AFCON. But with that being said, there's one player I need to talk some shit about, and that is Yves Bissouma. Bro, Bissouma, you play for Tottenham Hotspur. You play on the biggest team out of all the other players on Mali. You should be, in some respects, a leader for the team, especially considering the fact that you're the captain in this game. You should be the leader for this team. And for this whole AFCON, I don't think Bissouma had really any good games. I feel like he was very, very average. And to get a red card in this game, it's just so stupid. And Mali, I don't know what it is with their team, but they got 3 red cards in their last 3 games in a row. Has that ever happened in the AFCON where a team has gotten 3 red cards in 3 games in a row? Like, what's going on with the Malian players? 3 red cards. They got a red card against Comoros. They got a red card against Tunisia. And now they get another red card against Senegal. And it's arguably their most experienced player, the captain of their team, Yves Bissouma. And it's just so amateur. He gets a yellow card fairly early on into the match. He gets a yellow card in the 23rd minute. And then he gets a red card in the 3rd minute of added time right before halftime. Like, you can't just see the half out. You can't just relax for the last few minutes, make sure that Senegal don't score a goal, wait till halftime, the manager can make some changes, make the necessary substitutions, make some changes tactically, and then try and win in the second half. But no, you make a stupid tackle that is definitely a second yellow card, and you get sent off. Like, it's ridiculous. When I saw that, I'm like, what is he doing? What is Bissouma doing? He missed the penalty, the first penalty against Tunisia, which puts their team so much under pressure. Now, they did come back and they won that game. And then in this game, he gets a red card in added time right before halftime. It's just, it's so amateur by a player that should be arguably leading this Mali team. And what are they going to do against Senegal with 10 men for a whole second half? I'm not going to lie. Bissouma wrecked this game for Mali. If he didn't get a red card, I honestly think Mali probably could have got a draw out of this game, got another goal, and maybe took this game to extra time, maybe even penalties. But Bissouma getting that red card just completely threw them off. And another thing I want to mention, that I don't think Tom Saintfiet made the best substitutions in this game. I feel like taking off Sangare and Sinayoko, I think they've been arguably two of Mali's best players in this tournament. Sangare has been amazing for them in the midfield, and Sinayoko has been the only guy scoring goals for them. So if anyone was going to score a goal for Mali, it was most likely going to be Sinayoko. And if the game went to penalties, he's been scoring all his penalties. So I don't think their manager made the best substitutions, but honestly, I think Bissouma wrecked this game. I think if he didn't get the red card, Mali could have had a chance. But speaking about Senegal, they're obviously one of the best teams, right? They've scored, 11 goals now from their first 5 matches. Diallo, I don't think he was the best in this game playing in that striker position. But obviously, Nicholas Jackson, his attitude in the last game was very, very poor. He made some very bad remarks. At the end of the game, he just left. Like, I don't know what's up with Nicholas Jackson's attitude, but that's probably why he wasn't playing in this game. And now they're playing with Diallo, and I don't think he was the best. I will say Mane and Ndiaye were fantastic. Diatta, I've got to mention Diatta, because playing in that right back position, I've always known him to be more of a right winger, but playing in that right back position, I thought he was arguably Senegal's best player. I think he was fantastic in this game. But Senegal beat Mali 1-0, and they are playing in these semifinals. Senegal looks scary. Let's get into the next game, which was Morocco 2-0 against Cameroon. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I was getting a haircut when I was watching this game. Like, my hair might look a little bit crazy right now because I was in the middle of getting my haircut watching this game. I was sitting on the barber's chair just watching this game. And what did I notice from this game? I noticed that Cameroon were not nearly as good as I predicted them to be. I predicted Cameroon to beat Morocco 2-1. I'll admit it. I predicted Morocco to go out in this game. And I still don't think it was the worst prediction, because if you look at Cameroon in recent matches that they've played, they've been very good. They beat South Africa, they beat Mozambique, they drew against Ivory Coast, who have been arguably one of the best teams in this tournament, and they got a good win against Gabon. And Morocco, yes, they have gotten good wins, but I don't feel like they've been tested to the same level that Cameroon were. I think South Africa is better than any of the opponents that Morocco have had to face so far. I think that Ivory Coast is better than any of the opponents that Morocco had to face so far. So with that being said, I thought that Cameroon could perform much better in this game. I knew that they would let Morocco have more possession, because obviously Morocco have been the best team so far in this tournament in terms of holding possession. But I thought on the counterattack, at least Cameroon would be able to do something. But they were just uninspiring for pretty much the whole game. If I'm being 100% honest, they just didn't look that good. They looked lackluster in the attack. Mbumo didn't have a good game. Kofane, who I think is a very good young player, also didn't have a good game. But I think that this game was won in the midfield. Obviously, I just mentioned Cameroon's attack and how they weren't that good, but I think this game was won in the midfield. Morocco's midfield in this game was fantastic. And obviously, we saw Unahi get injured, which is a big loss for Morocco in that midfield. But El Kanous, El Ainaoui, and Saibari were fantastic in this game. And congratulations to Saibari, because he deserved the goal. I think he's been one of the best midfielders in this tournament. Everyone's talking about Iwobi, who, yes, he's been fantastic, but Saibari has also been very, very good in that midfield. And I think he definitely deserved the goal in this game. But Cameroon's midfield, they were just completely nullified by Morocco's midfield. That's how good Morocco were in the midfield, and that's how poor Cameroon were in the midfield. And in my predictions, I was always talking about the spine and the heart of Cameroon, which is Carlos Baleba, playing right in the middle of the pitch, everything going on around him. He is the most important player for Cameroon. And in this game, he was shit. I'm going to be completely honest with you. He's been so good throughout this whole tournament, but in this game, he was ass. He didn't really do anything. His passes were lazy. His passes were getting intercepted, and he didn't really do much. And because the Cameroonian midfield was so poor in this game, that caused their attack to not get the service that they need and to just be poor in general. Namaso, who I think is a great player, was poor. I already said Baleba was poor. Chamadu, obviously he got injured, but before he got injured, he was also poor. I just don't think Cameroon played good. Honestly, I just don't think their team was good in this game. And, if you look at the possession, Cameroon actually had a decent amount of possession, right? Throughout this game, especially in the second half, which I was surprised about. The first half, Morocco definitely dominated, but in the second half, Cameroon were really, really pushing to get that goal. 74% possession is a lot. I didn't expect that for Cameroon. But what did they do with that possession? Like nothing. They didn't do anything with that possession. Morocco, in general, throughout the whole game, were so much better, even though Cameroon had a very dominant second half. But, another thing I have to mention, Morocco's defense. I feel like Morocco's defense is underrated. I feel like everyone talks about their attack, everyone talks about their midfield, everyone talks about Hakimi, but the other defenders, no one really mentions them. Morocco have not conceded a goal from open play so far in this tournament. That's how good their defense has been. Look at their recent games. 1-0 against Tanzania, 3-0 against Zambia. They conceded a goal against Mali, but that was due to a penalty, 1-1, and 2-0 against Comoros, and now 2-0 against Cameroon. So yes, I will say Morocco hasn't had the toughest opponents compared to a team like Cameroon or some other nations, but their defense has been very, very solid. And that first half was so dominant by Morocco that I just feel like it completely threw off Cameroon. Even in the second half, when Cameroon were performing better, I felt like they made some good substitutions, some necessary substitutions. Like I said, Baleba and Namaso were playing very, very poor this game. So I think subbing them out was very important for them. And also subbing out Kofane was very good too. And it did help them because after those substitutions, you saw Cameroon look much more lively. They needed to get at least a goal, and they were trying really hard. But Morocco's defense, their goalkeeper, they were amazing. They were fantastic. And I got to say once again, Saibari definitely deserved this goal. Brahim Diaz, 5 goals. 5 goals in 5 games. Have we ever seen that before in an AFCON? I know not yesterday, in the last game, he broke the record for the first Moroccan player to score in 4 straight games. But now he scored in 5. Is Brahim Diaz going to score in every single game of this AFCON? If Morocco win this AFCON and Brahim Diaz scores in every single game, this guy's going to be breaking 3-4 records. Like, he is going crazy. And also El Kabi, to be fair, the goal was pretty much El Kabi's goal. Brahim Diaz just touched it in with his body right before it went in. El Kabi was fantastic. Other than that goal, I didn't think he had the best game, but it's once again, it's all Brahim Diaz and El Kabi in the attack. And Saibari, like I already mentioned, he's been fantastic in this tournament. But now we see Senegal and Morocco in the semifinals. And I guess technically those were the 2 favorites to win this game. Like I already said, I expected Cameroon to possibly get an upset. I was definitely shut up. This was not a great game for Cameroon. But that's the end of this video. I will also be making a video tomorrow on the Algeria versus Nigeria game and the Egypt versus Cote d'Ivoire game to see who Senegal and Morocco are going to be coming up against in the semifinals. But if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a comment down below. Remember to subscribe to the channel because I'm almost at 6,000 subscribers and I can't do it without you guys. But as always, if you enjoyed this video, remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and stay tuned for more videos.